Good afternoon. Vice President Sara Duterte says she will be heading to South Korea before heading back to Manila on the day of President Bongbong Marcos's fourth State of the Nation address. In a chance interview at The Hague, Netherlands, Vice President Duterte says she confirmed the schedule in South Korea because she wanted to personally express her gratitude to the Filipino community in the country. Vice President Duterte adds she will be traveling back to the Philippines during President Marcos Sona. Vice President Duterte already previously confirmed that she will not be attending Marcos Sona this year. Vice President Duterte is currently in The Hague, Netherlands until July 23 to attend to her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, who is currently under the custody of the International Criminal Court due to crimes against humanity charges. Vice President Duterte previously announced that she is set to travel to Kuwait on August 8. United States President Donald Trump released a fresh set of letters to trading partners setting out tariff rates for 6 countries as Washington pushes to bring about a flurry of trade deals. The letters were addressed to leaders of the Philippines, Brunei, Algeria, Libya, Iraq, and Moldova. The letters spelled out duties ranging from 20 to 30% that would take effect on August 1. The tariff rate on the Philippine goods coming to America was set at 20%. This is higher than the 17% rate announced in April. Similar to Trump's first batch of documents published on Monday, July 7, the tariff levels were not too far from those originally threatened in April, although some partners received notably lower rates this time. While Trump in April imposed a 10% levy on almost all trading partners, he unveiled and then held off on higher rates for dozens of economies. The deadline for those steeper levels to take effect was meant to be Wednesday before Trump postponed it further to August 1. Meanwhile, the Philippine government is set to negotiate with Washington for lower tariffs following the United States move. Philippine Ambassador to the U.S. Jose Manuel Babe Romualdez tells the Inquirer that the planned negotiation is set to transpire before long. However, Romualdez did not provide further information to the plan. Senator Ping Laxon exposes the alleged multi-billion peso pork barrel allocations of some lawmakers. In an interview with One News, Lacson notes that before the Priority Development Assistance Fund or pork barrel was declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court, senators had only 200 million pesos in pork, while members of the House of Representatives had 70 million pesos. Lacson then discloses that after it was declared unconstitutional, there are now senators having 5 billion pesos, noting some even have 10 billion pesos. Lacson also discloses a congressman with as much as 15 billion pesos. It has been 12 years since the Supreme Court declared the Priority Development Assistance Fund unconstitutional in 2013. Before ending his last term in the Senate in 2022, Lacson says he and former Senator Franklin Drilon succeeded in removing the budgets for dredging and flood control projects, which he described as the root of corruption. In the same interview, the senator discloses his initial findings in his scrutiny of the 2025 national budget. According to Lacson, one item in the budget showed that a very small barangay in a small town received a 1.9 billion pesos allocation, while another small town was allocated a 10 billion peso budget. Lacson says he will seek clarification on the matter, calling it as inequitable distribution of the budget. The Bureau of Corrections immediately relieved a camp commander and another commissioned officer following an attempt to smuggle a significant amount of alcohol and tobacco into the Sablayan prison and penal farm. In a statement, the Bureau of Corrections says the individuals relieved were Corrections Chief Inspector Francisco Madrid and Corrections Technical Inspector Edgar Laudencia. The 2 officers are currently assigned to the Directorate for Personnel and Human Resource Development at the national headquarters in Muntinlupa City, pending further investigation. According to a report submitted to Bureau of Corrections Director Gregorio Pio Catapang Jr. by the Sablayan Prison and Penal Farm Acting Superintendent Corrections Chief Inspector Abel Ciruela, the smuggling attempt involved a dump truck with plate number NA032A3, which was spotted outside the perimeter of the Sablayan Prison and Penal Farm Hospital. Upon questioning, the driver, identified as Rob Antaran, presented a permit signed by Madrid authorizing him to deliver gravel and sand inside the prison facility. However, once instructed to proceed to the designated unloading area, Antaran refused to unload his cargo, citing a hydraulic system malfunction. Antaran's persistent refusal prompted the security and operations personnel to question him further in the visiting area. It was there that Antaran confessed that the gravel and sand contained a substantial amount of contraband. Upon unloading, the authorities recovered several bottles of alcohol and tobacco products. Katapang has ordered a thorough investigation to determine if other personnel are involved. Katapang also required all superintendents of other operating prisons and penal forms to conduct a comprehensive review of their existing protocols for managing and inspecting deliveries to prevent similar events in the future. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good afternoon.